we're going to evaluate these exponent expressions. We have 5 to the 0th power, and we're going to go all the way up to 5 to the 5th power. Now remember, evaluate means that we're looking for the numerical value. That's right, that's the word that I see in evaluate. The numerical value that my base and exponent equals. So if I have 5 to the 0th power, we said that the special 0 power rule, anything raised to the 0th power, is equal to 1. So that's it. We just evaluate it to be 1. Can write that right in. Let's look at the next one. We got 5 to the 1st power. Now remember, your exponent, that 1, tells us how many times we're going to multiply our base, that 5, by itself. Since our exponent's 1, that just means we're going to have 1 5. And that's equal to 5. And here you can see that 5 to the 1st power is the same as just 5. And that 5 doesn't look like it has an exponent. That's why we say that we have an invisible 1 there. Because 5 to the 1st power is equal to just 5. Let's look at the next one. We got 5 squared. We're going to start by expanding this out, because sometimes expanding it out helps us to visualize what we're actually doing with the base and exponent. So we'll have 5 times 5, that's 5 multiplying by itself 2 times. That's how many times the exponent of 2 told us. 5 times 5 just equals 25, and we can write that in. We already knew that. Let's look at the next one. We have 5 to the 3rd power, 5 cubed. 5 cubed expands out to be 5 times 5 times 5. There are 3 of those 5s multiplying by themselves. And now, when I evaluate this, maybe I don't know it off the top of my head. That's all right. We can use our calculator here. So if you have a calculator at home, go ahead and use that. If not, open up a new tab like me, and we'll just use the calculator on Google. We can just search calculator, and it comes right up here. So you can go ahead and open that new tab. And then I can plug this in. And there are actually 3 ways I can type this into my calculator, right? So if I have this expanded out 5 times 5 times 5, I can type it in like that. 5 times 5 times 5. And that's going to equal 125. So we know that 5 cubed evaluates to 125. The second way I can type this into my calculator is that base and exponent. So I can type 5, then this button for exponent, I have an x raised to the y power. And then I type in my exponent, which is 3. So now I have 5 cubed, and that's equal to also 125. That's the second way to evaluate it. And the third way I could evaluate this is because we have this chart, we have 5 squared beforehand, and then we had 5 to the 3rd right after. We just take our 25 from before and multiply it by 5, right? Because we're only doing one more 5 that we're multiplying. And that's also equal to 125. So we can just write that in. You can use any 3 of those methods to calculate it. Let's look at 5 to the 4th power up here. We have 5 to the 4th power. If we expand that, we have 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. I want you to go ahead and write that in. That way you can visualize it. Once we have that, we can do our 125 times 1 more 5. That works. And we get 625. So we write that into our chart. Let's look at the last one, 5 to the 5th power. If we expand that out, that's 5 multiplying by itself 5 times. Right? And I can type this in. I'm going to type it in the base and exponent. So 5 raised to the 5th power. And that's equal to 3,125. And I can write it in. Now we've done all of our exponents of 5 from 0 to 5. And we've evaluated them. So this is how we want you to fill out these charts. That's how you evaluate exponent expressions.